This morning, I almost talked myself into believing that I'm getting slower. I headed out for what was supposed to be an easy run, and within the first mile, my legs felt so heavy, it felt like I was working twice as hard, but when I looked down at my watch, I was running way slower than I normally do. What's even more confusing is that over the weekend, I had arguably one of my best runs this training block, which got me thinking, how do you go from feeling amazing one run to feeling completely drained the next? If you're new here, hi, I'm Gigi. I started running in 2022 with zero athletic background, and since then, I've gotten first place in multiple races, including 2 half marathons. If there's one thing I've learned along the way, it's that even when you are improving, it doesn't always feel that way. In this video, I'm walking you through why we have those bad runs so you don't feel so disappointed next time it happens to you. Part 1, the bad run mindset. When I first started running, I assumed progress would be pretty obvious. I knew I wasn't gonna wake up one day and suddenly be an elite athlete, but I figured there would come a point where I would finally be past those terrible runs. You know, the ones where your legs feel like concrete and suddenly your easy pace feels like a race pace effort. I thought I'd reach this magical place where every run would just feel good, right? I feel like that's not a crazy thing to believe. Unfortunately, that's not how running works. It's almost as if the universe wants to humble you after every awesome workout. At some point, this good and bad felt like an emotional roller coaster. Every time I thought I had cracked the code, another run would come out of nowhere and shatter my confidence. That's the part I don't think enough people are honest about, the impact a bad run has on your confidence. If you let yourself go down that rabbit hole, your brain becomes really good at turning one disappointing run into evidence that you're never gonna reach your goals. Trust me, I know how easy it is to convince yourself that because you can't do an easy run, there's no way you're gonna achieve a personal best. But what if I told you a bad run wasn't actually measuring your fitness at all? Part 2, every day as its own. I think one of the biggest myths in running is thinking that your fitness is determined on how fast you're getting fast, when in reality, your body's responding to everything that's happening in your life, whether you realize it or not. Take a moment to think about the last few days. Have you been sleeping? Have you been stressed? Is it hotter than usual outside? If so, are you hydrating more than you often would? And if you get your period, where are you in that cycle? All of those factors impact how you feel on your run, but it may surprise you just how much it impacts. Take the heat, for example. Living in Miami has given me a whole new perspective on what pacing should actually look like. I've weighed way too many videos talking about how heat affects pacing, and yet when I'm struggling mid-run, I still let that get to me. Literally yesterday, I attempted to do a run that I did last week Monday, and it felt dreadful. So much so that it inspired me to make this video to talk about it and almost talk myself into remembering that this means nothing. Body isn't struggling because it's out of shape, it's working overtime trying to keep me cool. Honestly, that's exactly what I want it to be doing. I didn't get to meet him, but my grandpa actually died from a heat stroke running, so yes, I'm very conscious about the importance of hydrating and respecting the climate around you. Now on to sleep, which is another one that humbles me every single time. One bad night doesn't magically erase months of training, but wow, does it make an easy run feel anything but easy. Not only do my legs feel sluggish after a shitty night's rest, my motivation goes out the window. You see that happy girl in all my shorts? Yeah, she's non-existent with a bad night's rest. I go to bed really early, guys. Could not do it if I didn't. Then there's stress, which honestly I think we underestimate because it's hard to notice how much you're actually carrying until you start moving. Your body doesn't separate work stress, relationship stress, family stress, or life stress from the physical. So if your week has been overwhelming for any particular reason, it makes sense that you're not performing as you'd expect. The last factor that I'll talk about, because it's really relevant to me, are hormones. My cycle usually lasts anywhere from 25 to 28 days, which is TMI, and I don't care, I'll share it with you. But on days 18 through 20, I do not feel good. Like, consistently, I do not feel good. Naturally, my runs on those days are pretty not good. Now that I know this, I adjust my expectations for what a run should feel like during that time. Instead of comparing today's run to the best run I had last week, last month, whenever, I focus on today's run as itself. Simply put, it doesn't make much sense to expect your body to perform perfectly every single day, so why do we get so bummed out when it doesn't do just that? Part 3, the question I ask myself now. As I prepare for my next half marathon, I already know there's gonna be plenty of meh runs. It is the middle of summer. I'm in Miami. It's hot, it's humid, and no matter how optimistic I try to be, I know there are mornings where running is simply going to be harder. I'm making this video just as much for you guys as I am for myself, as a reminder that this is the chapter, this is the training block, and this is only going to make me stronger. I'm done letting one bad run decide how I feel about myself as a runner. Last week, I would have finished a run like the one I had yesterday morning and immediately gone into problem-solving mode. Or I would have convinced myself that I'm not prepared for the goals that I'm setting out for myself and possibly cut back or quit. But we talk a lot about balance on this channel, and I would be a hypocrite if I didn't apply that to myself. Instead of immediately wondering, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with my training plan? Try to ask, what else is going on? Think of all the stressors I mentioned in part 2 and many that have not been listed, and know that usually there's a reasonable explanation as to why this run wasn't the best. Even if there isn't, I'm learning to let go of today's bad run and not let it drag into tomorrow. So if you've had a rough run lately, this is your reminder to zoom out. Your fitness isn't built in one workout, and it certainly is not lost in one either. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it resonates. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I answer each and every one of them. Also, to the person that recommended I get a microphone, I've been using this, so if the audio sounds different, hello, this is she. Oh my goodness. I hope you could hear me better. If you could, let me know in the comments. Okay, bye!